I'm particularly proud and happy about the young filmmakers, actors, singers, writers, producers that are coming up behind my generation. In particular, Barry Jenkins. Young people understand this young man made 10, 15, 20 short films before he got the opportunity to make Moonlight. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, Pete Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
Welcome, 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 welcome. It is May the 16th, 2018. The show is called No Covers Live, Straight Talk, No Chase. I'm your host, Daoud El-Amin, coming to you out of the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington, North Carolina. Also throughout the country on Facebook Live, on Gospel Joyce Plat, and on the Daoud El-Amin page. You can find us coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12:30 to 1:30. Discussing community issues, national issues, issues of the heart. How about that? Issues that affect our community, specifically our African American community, but a broader community as well. But specifically the community which I claim and belong to as an African American, as a Black male in this country. Before I start today's show, I want to congratulate all the teachers in Wilmington, North Carolina, throughout North Carolina, all over North Carolina, but especially those ones in Wilmington and Pender County as well, who walked out of school today and went up to Raleigh to protest for better wages, for better materials to work with, for a better program for our children. You see the stickers that say support the teachers of North Carolina. I want you all to support, because granted you, those teachers walked off the day and the school system is not paying them for that day's work. They didn't pay one of them for that day's work. So support those teachers that walked out the day. I know the students are glad to be home for a day. The schools had to close for a day because the teachers are frustrated and tired of getting treated like second-rate people. Teachers make less than any other field out there. They make less than even the human service field, which I work in. I work in the human service field and I worked in the school system. And a lot of times the school system, the teachers are sitting there looking at a psychologist or a social worker, a psychologist that's making a ton of much money more than they're making. They look at police officers and physicians and other people in the community making tons of money when they got to keep the children up to 8, 9, 10 hours a day sometimes. They got to go home and work on a lesson plan. Let me tell you about teachers. I'm learning about teaching from being on this show. When I leave the show, I have to go home and work on Friday's show. I have to work on a lesson plan. I have to study. They have to study to teach our children. They have to be on point to work with our children. So our teachers get it rough. And then sometimes I haven't had this experience. So this is going to lead right into my show for today because I'm conflicted today. On top of what they have to go through as teachers, I've worked in the school system for 3 years. had the privilege to work over there, opening back up DC Virgo and be a big part of that faculty, being able to be the troubleshooter, having to walk in the classroom and see a student outright literally going off their rocker. But the teacher had to sit there and deal with that. And then I watched the parent come in the office to defend the child, and then I understand where the child got it from. But so, yes, millions of dollars. Sport and play. We spend millions of dollars in basketball, football, actors, musicians. They make a ton of money, and teachers barely make $30,000, some of them. And they got to put up with our children, some of our hard-headed children, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. So here comes my conflict for today, because I told you I was conflicted to start the show. I'm conflicted about our youth, and here's why. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I'm conflicted today that we're dealing with. There's one video that's going around circulating on my page of a young man that's in a classroom and the teacher takes his telephone. I don't know if you've seen it. If you see, chime in, you might have seen it. The teacher takes the young man's class. So I guess he has secured it, because that's what the whole argument is about. The young man wants his phone back. And he don't want his phone back. He wants his phone back. And I want it back now. Things that I can't say on the air. The language is coming out of his mouth. And he's talking to the teacher, and the teacher's sitting back. He got to be a substitute teacher, the way he's positioned himself, because he's leaning back in the chair. He's not, he's got to be, look like, because somebody made a comment, well, the teacher, they don't respect the teacher, and the teacher hadn't gained their respect. It looks like somebody's sitting in, because I don't think he would have did a regular teacher like that. Not in the schools I've been into. But he goes and slams everything on the desk and everything on the floor, and goes to the man. He takes his finger and puts it in the middle. This is our child. This is our child. Pushes the man's head back and say, I ain't going to tell you again. Give me my phone. Yeah. So when I'm looking at that, I'm saying I'm conflicted, because that's a child from the community. And I've been in the school system. I've seen how our children are behaving. I've seen what the teachers have to go through. I've seen the language that back in the day, I remember one time going to school and calling a teacher out the way, and my daddy liked to have a fit. He liked to have a field day, because he found out I had talked to an adult out of character. Children talk to adults out of character because they're talking to the parents out of character. I've witnessed it because I've been in the school system to see it. I've seen the same children that talk to the teacher out of character, sit in the parking lot before they even get there to see the teacher, talking to their mother or their father or whoever the significant other is that comes to the meeting out of character. Words that I would never have used to my mother and father and not got knocked down on the floor. Words that I wouldn't dare thinking about saying to my father. Out of character. I'm looking at the case of Kevin Robinson. The autopsy was done in Louisiana. I'm reading you the notes that the 22-year-old did. Fled from the police in his car, crashed into 2 sheriff's vehicles, and fled on foot, jumping over several backyard fences before he was caught with drugs. First thing I said was, they're going to choke him to death. When they catch him, the first thing I said was, yeah, they did it. Ain't no use for an autopsy report. I believe they did it. Because after running, crashing 2 police vehicles, fleeing on foot, jumping over several backyard fences before catching them, I know they were angry. Because when I watched the video of that young man pushing the teacher's head, the first thing I told my brother was, I'm glad it wasn't me in the school, because he would have hit the floor. I know he would have hit the floor, because I know me. I would have reacted. When he did that to my head, and I'm getting paid $25,000, $30,000 a year, he would have hit the floor, because I would have probably reacted in the same way you probably would have reacted. if some child or some young person deals with you in disrespect. Moving on. Warsaw, North Carolina. We had a big debate over the week whether we should ride up Warsaw or whether we should handle the business here, whether we should boycott Waffle House, whether we're not to boycott Waffle House. We've been texting and emailing back and forth trying to figure out what is the best strategy to deal with Warsaw, North Carolina. Warsaw, you all, is in our backyard. It's right at home. But I waited and paused because the actions of the police officer was out of character, shouldn't have been. I don't condone it. He shouldn't have put his hands around that boy's neck at all. He shouldn't have choked him. But I do know where it comes from. I have to realize where it comes from because I waited until the video surfaced. And then once the video surfaced, I already knew what I was going to see. The reason why is because I called folks up in that area before I even moved and asked them, what were the people inside the restaurant version of what took place? Let me make it clear where my conflict lies today, because I don't want you to think for 1 second that I am endorsing the police officers that go outside of their bounds of their duty and strangle and choke and body hold and kill innocent Black men and women, as some of them are doing around the country. I don't want you to think for 1 second that I'm turning a blind eye to the racism that goes on in the department or a blind eye to the trouble that we have in the department. I don't want you to think for 1 minute that I'm not with you with Trayvon, with you with Tamir Rice, with you with Eric Garner, with you with Sandra Bland. Those are adults that have passed. But what I am afraid of is what I'm seeing. And let me be clear today what I see. I see misplaced anger. I see a young generation that's angry and don't know why. I see a generation that's angry and don't know what to do with it. I see a generation that's angry, frustrated, and are setting themselves up to be hurt, to be killed, because we haven't figured out how to constructively deal with their anger. They're angry, folks, and they don't know why. And I equate it to the parents who have not stopped to get a thorough knowledge of who they are as a people, so that they can in turn inject who they are into their children. And it may sound like I'm making it very simple, but it's not. If you don't have a full story, you start talking it any kind of way. It's something I did a post the other day, what I see in the children. It's like Medea trying to teach the little girl about the Bible, but she never really studied the Bible well. She's all over the place, scatterbrained here. That Jonah did this, and then he saw Noah, and then she's all over the radar. It's down to me a simple thing of history. And you all might say I'm way out left field with this one, but I'm telling you, I don't think I am. I understand how I've been able to raise 7 children, knock on wood, and don't have the conflicting behaviors that I see. Because I taught them what was taught to me, which was a thorough history and knowledge of who I am and how I am to behave myself being who I am. How I am to conduct myself being who I am. When my children walk out the door, they know they wear not only their name, that's the first one, but they wear that Elohim, which is my name. Therefore, I expect them from 1 to 25 to 55 to act in a certain manner when they go outside their house and their door. And if I don't see that kind of behavior, I'm going to be disappointed in them. I have two other sons that wear the name Nasir. They wear the middle name. I expect a certain kind of behavior out of them. And if I don't see that behavior, they know there is a price to pay for not performing and in a manner that carry that name. So although we have to march, we have to protest, we have to fight for justice in this country, we have to fight and make sure the police department is not outside order, we have to fight for the racism within the system, we have to uplift the good cops, and we have to get rid of the bad ones. Likewise, on the flip side, folks, because that's what I just described is something we have to do nationally. But on the flip side, I'm going to talk about something today that we can do every day in our home. We can do every day in our living rooms. We can do every day in our kitchens. We can do every day at the park. We can do this every day. We can ensure that our children know how to act in public. We can ensure that our children know how to walk away. We can ensure that our children know how to obey those in authority above them and over them. Those are things we can ensure to help eliminate some of these problems that we have in because as I just told you, we're dealing with an angry group of children who has displaced anger and don't know what to do with it. And if we don't put a stop to their behavior, if we don't work on their behavior, we're leading them right. If you know an enemy is looking for a reason, don't give it to them. See, we can list all of the racism that goes on. We can list all of the injustices that go on. We know them. We've lived with them. We've been here for 400 plus years. We know what they are. We know the injustices of the country. We know when we go look for a job, it's going to be discrimination. We know when we go to the bank, there's going to be some discrimination. We know when the children sit in school, there's going to be some discrimination. Discrimination has been here. And I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. We can get as multicultural as we want to. We already are informed as parents. We know that when they go outside the door, there's a certain amount of injustice that's going to be inflicted upon our children. Discrimination is going to exist. When they go to the college, university, there's going to be some professors there that don't like them just because of the color of their skin. Yes. When they're going to go to court, there's going to be a judge in a black robe. And some in black robes that don't like them just because of the color of their skin. There's going to be a DA that don't like them. There's going to be a lawyer that's going to look at the case and not even going to give it his full attention if it's court appointed just because of the color of their skin. We know that exists in this country. So if we as parents know that, why would we allow our children to walk into that trap? If we as parents know what we had to go through, what we've been through, why would we allow our children to walk straight down a pit of fire without preparing them with fire-resistant material so that they won't get burned? A simple yes, sir, no, sir will get you out of trouble and save your life. A simple hello. A simple zipping the lip, as Mama just said. Zip it. Can be the difference in life and death between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. A simple zip of the lip. Oh, I shouldn't have to do that. I should have freedom of speech. Yeah, but you don't. Not at 1 to 5 a.m. in the morning and you on the other side of a gun. or a nightstick or somebody with a bad attitude with handcuffs in. No, you don't. I was 18 years old. I was at the skating rink. 18. And then my friends were out partying. I had slipped out the house. I still at 18. I still had rules. And as long as you lived in my dad's house, you still had the time to come in. I was 18 and now. I thought I was grown, but my daddy taught me that real quick. As long as you was in his house, he still need to know where you was at. And I was slipping out, you know. Y'all know I'm a minister's son. And I slipped out one night with my boys. We went to the skating rink and we were rollers. We were skaters. We were the crew. You know, we before ATL, we was the ATL back in Virginia, Newport News. And we going down there skating, and we go to the skating rink, and you know, we get there, we warming up, we on the sideline, you know, getting out, you know, we get a roll for the night. One of us touched outside, and it wasn't our skate turn, and we stepped on the floor just to get our wheels rolling. And the man who didn't like us, he was waiting to find a way to put us out, said, "Get out." And we only had been there for like 15 minutes and put our skate on. I said, "Nah, we ain't going nowhere." He said, "Nah, y'all getting out, get out." So I said, "We getting out, I need my money back. I need a refund." So we go to the counter and I want my refund. And of course, they're not giving me one. So I'm a rebel, y'all. I've calmed down a lot. Believe that. I've calmed down a real lot. So I jumped across the counter, I'm gonna get my money. So I hit the cash register and took out only what we paid. I think it was $5 to get in. I took out 15. I gave one back to one boy, one back to my other boy, and I took 5 for myself. And I closed the register back up. That's all I wanted was 15 I paid. We paid 15. I took 15 out. We got outside. We walk into the car. Well, soon we turned around to the back of the building. Here come the sirens. I mean, they was like they was waiting for us around the corner. They had already caught them on us. It was 6 deep. I mean, and one of them grabbed me, and my partner grabbed him, and there was a tussle, and we was down, and I'm kicking, screaming, talking trash. I'm still running my mouth. I'm in the car in the back with handcuffs on. I'm steady running my mouth because I had a mouth. You know, the mouth I got now, I had back then. You imagine me talking on a mic now for an hour at a time. You imagine me when 18 years old, and I'm angry at some police. And I never forget it to this day. A black police officer came up to me and came up to the back of the car. Yeah, I was locked in the car. The guys were sitting outside talking. I'm steady yelling and screaming, you this, you that, you this. I was just talking, calling them all kind of names. And he opened that car door. He said, "Son, this is not my arrest. And I'm telling you, if you want to make it downtown alive tonight, I would best advise you to shut up." And he said, and he walked away. And the way he said it, and his eyes, the way he looked into my eyes, and the way he put his hand on my shoulder to say, "I understand what you're going through, son, but right now you in a life or death situation because this boy about to pull off and you might not make it downtown to the jail alive." And I understood something wrong in me. The father image he was, the image that I had of him, I can still look in his eyes to this day, and I understood, and I shut up. And I lived to walk outside that jail to be picked up by my father, who I had wished I had died when he got to me. Yeah. Real life. Parents, I know it's a hard pill to swallow because we have every right in the book. We're entitled to every right that every citizen in this country has. I know that. We're entitled to that. Matter of fact, we're double entitled based on the years of free labor we gave to this country. So we should be doubly, when it comes to you should give us a double portion of justice, a triple portion of justice. That's what we're due for building this country, for cleaning the toilets, cleaning the stools, cleaning the laundry, hanging out the clothes, picking the cotton, feeding the people. We should get a triple portion of justice. Easily. I can easily demand for that. Easily I can demand for that. That's what we do. 400 years of free slavery. I know the pain. Miseducated, still miseducated. Living in some of the poorest communities ever in this country. Right? You can go to any city and find out, oh, that's where black folks live. Any city. You can ride long enough and you know what the projects look like. We're entitled to triple justice. But our children don't have a background of who they are, a background of their history. So because we're not giving them a background of who they are, they're behaving like animals that the society has created and we have helped create and we continue to help create when we don't tell them to zip it. They took discipline out of the school, we took it out of the homes. I'm not, I know you all with the new method of raising, no touching, no hitting, no beating, yeah. I understand. Daddy's belt is why I'm alive today. Mama's switch is why I'm alive today. Because I was off the wall. But the fear of that man, the fear, I feared him more than I feared the cops. I feared him more than I feared somebody else. And that fear kept me on the straight. I would sneak and do. But the fear, parents, we got to teach them that. We got this over here. We're going to keep marching. We're going to keep fighting. I'm conflicted, but we're going to keep moving. We're going to do something about Warsaw. I don't know what, but we're going to figure it a way. We're going to work on it. We're going to do something about these injustices. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep fighting for justice. We're going to make sure, we're going to force the court system to do right by us. It's coming. The numbers are changing. I gave you that last week. 2044, it's a whole new ball day. We're working for the change. Slowly, it's gradually changing. The numbers are going to change in our favor. This upcoming race, it's going to be nice to see. You see, watch the numbers. It's changing. People are beginning to get aware. Even whites are saying it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. We're coming. It's coming. Change is coming. It's always came. Change is going to come. But I'm not using the analogy anymore that we have in advance. Look, it's a lot better than it was. I told y'all, if you don't like it, you can leave. You want to go somewhere else? Yes. Karen said national boycott. Yes, all that. We got to do all that. I'm with that. Saladin, I heard you, brother. I'm with the policy. I'm with all of that. I'm with making sure we put so much pressure on our local and national government and these local agencies, these police officers. We put so much pressure that they cave in and give us the triple justice that we do. In the same manner, I want us to cave in on these behinds if we have to, or these rebellious children we done raised that think it's okay to talk to an adult any kind of way they feel like it. Okay to disobey people in authority over them. If your mama didn't like the teacher, she put you in another school. If she sent you to school, she sent you there to obey the teacher. She didn't send you there to act the fool, act the clown. Parents, you have to make sure that that your children, if they act up, it ashames them. My children can't stand for me to find something bad about them because they know it hurts me. Because I have instilled in them that I am hurt when your behavior is outside that of which I have trained you to do. I've trained you to say yes, sir, no. I've trained you to open the door for your mother. I've trained you to open the door for women. I've trained you to make sure your sister was always protected. I've trained you that if the person on the job, if they're telling you to do the job, you might not like how they said it. Just do it until you can find another one and get out of there and go get another job. But don't act a fool. And don't quit until you get one. I've trained this in them so that they were so that hopefully, I will never see them on the 6 o'clock news. And I'm defending for their justice on one end, but then I got to see the tape of them acting like a fool on the other before the incident happened. I hope that if I see them where I'm defending for justice, then they were in their right state of mind and they wasn't abusive. They wasn't using language that they wouldn't use to me, on me. They wasn't showing, as mama say, they behind. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I've instilled that enough in my children. And I'm pleading with parents. I'm pleading with you today that if you don't take back your home, and if you don't put some kind of controlling measures on these children, you're leading them into a pit of fire because the fire is there. You already know the injustices are there. You face them every day. You're leading them, you're letting them talk to you any kind of way. You're letting them deal with adults any kind of way. You're leading them to lose a job just because somebody don't like their language and don't like their mouth and don't like this attitude, this attitude. You're leading them, you're leading them to be unemployed because they came to work this morning with an attitude. I had a friend of mine that picked a young man up and got him a job. He got him a job and picked him up to work in the morning. And he picked him up. The boss man came to pick him up, and the man called the friend who got him a job. He said, "Man, I had to leave him at home." I said, "Why?" When he came to my car, he was smelling like a ton of weed. So my friend called the young man and said, "Man, why would you smoke this morning knowing you had a job?" He said, "Man, you know what I do." He said, "Well, why would you do it this morning? You know you get to go to the job." He said, "Man, I was good. I did it at home. I didn't do it on the job." His start price was, I did it at home before I left, so I went on the job. Yeah, he smelled a little something on me, but I'm going to his job to go to work. Really? 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 That was his mindset. That was his framework. That was where his mind thought he could get away with. But there were some parenting issues as well. See, I always use this analogy, folks. When I'm dealing with children, this analogy works almost 9 out of 10 times. If you ever go by an apple tree and you look up under it and there's an orange, somebody put it there. You'll never find an orange falling out of an apple tree. They don't even grow in the same climate. If you walk up on the apple tree and you see an orange there, somebody placed that there for you or somebody dropped it. But it didn't come out of that tree. So 9 out of 10 times when I see the behavior of an unruly child, or when I see a behavior of a child that just curses like a sailor, just talks to a teacher any kind of way, just talks to a dog, give them the finger, don't have no patience, don't have no control, I look for the parent. And 9 out of 10 times, if I look at the parent long enough, I can see where that behavior came from. 9 out of 10 times, I can see where that behavior came from. I see the conversation going on Facebook. I can't get to you all so most of the time because I'm engrossed in what I'm doing. I'm gonna get an engineer and give me some of those comments sometime. Down the road. I wish I was at the point that was on, when days will come, we'll be on TV. When we get to TV, I can show you some of the videos and show you what I'm talking about. But sometimes on the air, you can't see. I want you to see physically some of the behavior that I'm talking about, that I'm seeing. But you've already seen it. You see it on Facebook. You see it on Twitter. You see it in your neighborhood. I hope you don't see it in your house. I'm just hoping you don't see it in your house. If you do, please clean it up. Because it's leading to a destructive track for our children. We're leading them to a pit of fire because we're condoning, we're letting them think this is not going to last in that real world. You can't have your cake and eat it too. The man said, this what the man said, the arresting officer said. He said, this is what he said now. This is what he said. This is what he said. It's not now. I told you how the children act. This is what he said. He said, we don't train somebody to hit someone with a brick. But if your life is in danger and the brick is there, you hit someone with the brick. That's what the Calvin Robinson situation. He said, we don't train somebody to hit somebody with a brick, but if your life is in danger and the brick is there, you hit someone with a brick. And a lot of times they can justify their life being in danger. Sometimes it's not, but they're going to say it was. So you already know that. You already know the scenario when your child goes out at night. You already know that if there's an altercation, we've been through enough cases, always since Trayvon all the way lately, to even to Mia. Even to me, they thought their life was in danger because they saw a gun. They justified that their life was in danger with a toy gun. So we already know. See, it's like playing cards with somebody and you already know what their trick is. Or playing chess. I'd rather use chess because I play chess a lot. I know what my children's weakness are when I play chess. I already know what they're gonna go with. So if you already know that the system, the way they're gonna wiggle out of it is they're gonna say, well, my life was in danger. That's their wiggle room. That's their wiggle room why we can't get some of these cases with justice, because my life was in danger. Why? Because he was acting in a manner that put my life in danger. So if I already know that, why would I tell my son you don't have to be quiet. Know your rights, and you don't have to shut up. Don't be no sissy. Know your rights, man. Speak up for yourself. And don't let them punk you out. When I already know I'm instilling in him what may get him killed. Because I know this person over here is already looking for the loophole to kill him anyway. I already know that. I already know that on that force, if those that wear that blue badge, there are some good ones and there are some bad ones. You got to get tamarine what Chris Rock said. Chris Rock said you really can't afford no bad ones in that particular line of work, but they do have bad ones. We know that. The data shows that there are some bad ones. The data even shows there's some crooked ones, not even just bad with racist attitude. The data shows there's some crooked ones taking bribes up under the table, selling dope under the table. The data shows us that. The firing shows us that. The history of the department shows us that. So if we already know that on that side of the envelope, if we already know that on this side of the table, that the odds are against us, it's stacked deck. They got the lawyer on their side, they got the D on their side, they got the police on their side, they got the sheriff on their side, they got the government on their side, they got the president of the United States on their side. We already know it's a stacked deck. And while on this side of the table, I won't tell my child, you need to learn when to zip it and come home alive. Zip it, come home alive, and then we'll go down there Monday morning or Tuesday morning and deal with it with our lawyer. Zip it, we'll go file a complaint. That ain't gonna do no good. How do you know? We ain't got to that point yet because we keep losing because they won't zip it. If I already know the lay of the land, why not use a map to get through it safely? I ain't telling you to sell out. I'm telling you to live. I'm telling you, make sure you see your child go to graduation. I'm telling you, make sure you get your grandchildren in your hand, you can have some fun with them. No parent should have to bury a child. No parent should have to bury a child. I hope I never have to bury mine. I hope I've raised them well enough that they know how to carry themselves in public. That's all I'm saying, family. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be harsh on us today. I'm not trying to take any, I say again, I'm not take any of the responsibility off law enforcement or teachers in school, including principals in school. I'm not trying to take any responsibility away from the employer. But I'm also trying to make sure we graduate. I'm trying to make sure we keep a job. And I'm trying to make sure we don't keep getting killed. Because we've given them a reason to do what they want to do anyway. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Because some of them walk out looking for a reason. I'm going to look for a reason tonight. I'm going downtown looking for a reason. So when they see a confrontation, they say, stop. They're looking for you not to stop. See, I told them stop 3 times. They didn't. They looking for a reason. That same child that I saw on that film threw those papers off the desk, pushed that man's head back against that chair, and took his phone and walked outside the room and cussed all the way through the classroom while the students laughed and giggled. That same child could be the same child at 1 o'clock in the morning that fled from the police in his car, crashed into 2 sheriff's vehicles, fled on foot, jumped over several backyard fences before he was caught with drugs. When all he had to do was stop and just take the drug charge. It's been the wrong. Caught me. You caught me. All that child had to do was stop and waited and got his phone back after school. The child turns into the adult, and the adult grows older and older, and he begins to raise more children with the same behaviors, and we keep the cycle going on. We got to stop it, folks. So I'm conflicted. When it gets to these marches and protests, I'm conflicted. Because I'm conflicted now because I have to always wait to see the full story, because it keeps coming up that we have some behaviors that we need to work on as well. And if we're not going to work on our behaviors, how can I expect them to not do what they've been trained to do, what they want to do, what we're allowing them to do? Y'all take it, just take it for what it's worth. You don't get upset with me. Take it for what it's worth today. Listen to it, comment on it, pass it around, share it. I'm going to share it this evening on my report. I've got some people nationally that give me some feedback and said, Dawoud, you might not be, you on this point for certain, but look at it from this angle. Y'all give me some angles to look at it. Walk with me, talk to me. Look at it, listen to it, give me some angles how I can be unconflicted in this. But I'm conflicted when I look at the behavior of these children. And I watched it for 3 years at DC Virgo. I had a chance to be in the school system for 3 years, and I watched the behavior, and I said, wow, this is school. This is really school. This is, and then I saw the reaction relation with parents, and I came to this conflict. Yeah, I'm gonna always fight for justice. Triple justice is what I call it. We do triple justice. But at the same time, I'm gonna fight for us getting our families back together, putting our homes intact. And mothers, please don't try to do it by yourself. Let me end on that note, because maybe I'll carry this on to Friday, the Healthy Living Friday. Mothers and fathers, if you all got conflict, I understand that. In today's society, you're gonna have conflict. If you're married together, you're gonna have conflict. If you're boyfriend and girlfriend, there's gonna be some level of conflict. If you break up, there's really gonna be some conflict. I see it all every day. But mothers and fathers too, because you're a part of it too, don't destroy the child because of your conflict. You can be outside the home and still train your children. Men, if you have boys, you need to be in that home training those boys. Well, she won't let me cook. Why she won't? Well, she mad at me. Why? What's she mad at you for? What did you do? Figure out how to get back in. That's your boy. That's your son. You got to raise him so he ain't dead. If you're not giving him any discipline, he's dead. He's dead at 21, 25. Well, I got conflict. You got conflict with the mama, but what about the child? If you don't get in there and get him some discipline and show him how to raise him up to be a man right and correct, how to talk to people the correct way, how to behave the correct way, make a man out of him, he dead. And what good is he to you then? So get back in your home. I don't care how angry mad she is at you. I'm not dealing with I know it can be frustrated. I know I go through it too sometimes. But you get back in there to your sons. Because if you get them right, the daughters are going to be better. Because they see men and then they know how to behave following the men. Real story in closing. There was a real story. It's in my No Covers book. Real story in closing. I'm closing out with this. Real story. In Tanzania, there was a place in Tanzania that had elephant safari reservation. They had elephants on a reservation. And these elephants, got too large. They had to move some of them. So they couldn't transport the bigger elephant because they didn't have the equipment at the time. So they transported the smaller elephants over to another place, another area, another reservation. When they got on that reservation, the baby elephants turned into teenagers soon. And they had the habit of attacking white rhinos. They would charge the white rhinos and just acting out of character. The baby elephants just going off. They would lose their mind. They was just attacking white rhinos. White rhinos were a dangerous species. So they didn't know what to do with this problem they had. And so what they decided to do was shoot some of the elephants. The ones that would attack, they would shoot the elephants. And one of the park rangers came up with a wonderful idea because time had changed. And time advanced, been about 10, 15, 20 years. They had now had the equipment. So what they decided to do was go back to the old reservation and bring some of the elder elephants over to the new reservation. Lord behold, when the baby elephants got to see the fathers that they had left, all of the elders that they had been away from the other plantation, other reservation, they soon fell in line. They stopped killing the winos, and peace came among the herd. That's all I'm saying, fathers. Get back in your homes, man. If she's not letting you in that house, I told one brother, I said, go to Dollar Tree and get you 30 toys. He had a little young son, about 4 or 5. His mother was having trouble with the mother. I said, get 30 toys. Wrap them up. I said, every day you just go lay one on the step. So every day, just lay a present on the step with his name on it. Bring you about $34, a new toy every day. I said, see how long it takes for you to get back in that house. It's little things, brothers, the little things. Get that frown up off her face to let you go back in, not to be with her, but to let you back in there so you can raise that son upright so that I don't see him on the 6 o'clock news 20 years from now getting killed simply because he could have zipped it and went back home. Peace and blessing you all that are going through Ramadan. Hope you have a blessed month. I'm going to have a good one. I'll see you back on Friday with Healthy Living Friday. We'll be back in the studios at 12:30. Facebook family, I appreciate your support. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And I'll see you back. This is No Covers Live. I'm out.